Hey, you guys. So this week I had the pleasure of recording with one of my very, very favorite people, Christina P. I went over to her amazing studio. She has an amazing studio. It's the kind of studio that I aspire to have one day. And we did a big crossover bonanza. So I recorded an episode of That's Deep Bro, and then she recorded an episode of Allison Rosen is Your New Best Friend, which you're about to hear. And she has video set up. So bonus, there's video for this podcast, and you can, I'm not exactly sure where I'm going to put it, although it will be up by the time you hear this. So check my social media, but I believe it'll probably be at youtube.com/Allison Rosen. If you go there and you click around, you'll notice it's a neglected, vast, a tumbleweed might blow across your computer screen while you're there. Got to fix that up. But anyway, youtube.com/Allison Rosen is most likely where you go if you want to see the video of this episode you're about to hear. I might also, or instead, I really should choose a direction and go with it. Patreon.com/Allison Rosen. I might put it there as well, but if I do, I will make it available to everyone. But anyway, had a really great two-part conversation with her. So listen to the episode, and then when you're like, I need more, because you will, go listen to me on her episode. And before it starts, I want to tell you guys about a new sponsor that I'm very excited about, Just Fab. It's a fashion website. And if you know me, you know that I pretty much only wear boots, and they have tons of boots. They have all sorts of footwear, accessories, jewelry, clothing, but boots are what's really going to drive you to the site. If you're me, I spent a lot of time on the site earlier today. So they have tons of fashion forward, on trend styles, and it's all very affordable. And when you get there, they give you a style quiz. And I'm pretty much a sucker for any sort of quiz, but you select the styles that speak to you, and then they start showing you stuff tailored for you, personalized for you. It's, what store in the mall does that? No store, I say. And you can shop on the site as a guest, or you can become a VIP, which is what I did. And you're going to want to become a VIP because it's the best way to shop. VIPs save up to 30% off on retail price. And then also there's tons of other exclusive perks for VIPs. You'll love being a VIP member. Here's the kicker. If you go to justfab.com/Allison now and sign up as a VIP, you'll get your first style for as low as $10. $10! You heard that right. Just visit justfab.com/Allison. So that's justfab.com/Allison to get your first style for as low as $10. Do it today. All right. So here's the episode. I'm very curious to hear what you guys think. It's a little different than a normal episode, or maybe it just feels a little different to me because I did it not in my usual studio. I don't know. Let me know what you think. Here it is.
Allison Rosen is your new best friend. Allison, with her good times never end. Allison Rosen, doing the wavy pencil dance again. Allison Rosen's your new best friend.
Hey everyone. Hi. Hello. Welcome to another episode of Allison Rosen is Your New Best Friend. This is a special, unique crossover on location episode. I am here with Christina Pazsitzky.
Hi. Thanks for having me.
From Your Mom's House and That's Deep Bro and a bunch of other stuff. And we just recorded an episode of her podcast, That's Deep Bro. And now we're recording the episode you're hearing of my podcast. But basically it's one long conversation, although we did take a break in the middle. But you're coming in right as we are talking about the need for external validation and how to free ourselves from that. But make sure, if you want to hear the rest of this conversation, go download the episode of That's Deep Bro that has well, they'll know because it's the most recent episode. Yes.
Well, and subscribe to that.
Subscribe. Yes.
Too. It'll be...
What am I saying? Subscribe. Listen to all of them. Listen to this one first.
Let me find the episode. I'll tell you right now. The number of it or whatever. I think it's 139. Episode 139. That's
139. So go listen to that one. Then you can get the full picture of us. We're basically talking about transition to motherhood and identity issues. But we're also just talking about about stuff because we are pretty much in love with each other.
Pretty much. I'd say we are.
We've determined that we're in love with each other, kindred spirits. And also, we didn't get into any sort of gross stuff on your podcast, but there's some stuff I want to get into on this one. But anyway, okay. So we were right in the midst of talking about freeing yourself from the need for external validation, because I recently had this realization that so much of what I think I want to achieve in this world, it's just lately, it's on and off. I have this realization. It's not even because I want to do the things, like, let's say I want a television show. Is it because I want to host a show, or is it because I want to be like, look at me, I'm hosting a show? And I feel like right now, I feel like it's the latter, and that's the wrong reason to do anything.
Yeah, I agree with you. A while back, I was at the Comedy Store, and somebody had a television show that they were just starring in, and there's this billboard that they put up right at the store, and I remember being like, I'm envious. Does that mean that I want a television show? And then I went, no, I think I just want the billboard.
Yeah.
And I was like, why is that? Is that because I'm not feeling particularly validated in business right now? And because I don't want to do a TV show. It's fucking terrible. Like, it's so much work. I mean, unless
if it was the right one, I think I would want to do it. If you and I were starring.
Exactly.
Yes.
But not the particular
Jeans
show.
and the Friend.
Jeans and the Friend. I love that. Oh my God, that's brilliant. Brilliant. And we have to have 2 gay friends.
Yeah.
But what is that? And especially with social media and that, I think that's just added a whole other layer to being insecure about whether or not you're doing great.
Totally. Well, I actually a couple weeks ago talked about this on my show. I feel like I really am working on a phone addiction. It's so much of my mood has to do with what I just scrolled through on my phone. I feel like I'm not all that present in my relationships in my life. I feel like nervous or ill at ease if my phone is not near me. That being said, it is near me right now, but that's because I'm keeping an eye on the clock as we record. But I just, all the hallmarks of an addiction.
Yeah.
The way an addiction affects someone and their ability to be present, I feel like I have that with my phone. And I feel like I would be happier if I could just put it aside, because the reality of my life is actually really wonderful. And yet all this sort of ephemeral, made-up stuff that only exists in the phone has such hold over my mood. Do you feel the same? Because I know that we talked a while ago and you were just not as into Twitter as I was.
I don't give a fuck about Twitter.
Yeah.
I honestly don't want to read the thoughts of most people in the world. I don't, especially in that format. I find it to be very mean. I think that it's a platform for people just to shit on other people and not really be able to explain their position, because you have to do it in how many characters. So for that reason, I just find it to be counterproductive. But so here's the deal. Sometimes when I'm alone with my son, this is the truth of it. He's almost 2 years old. What's entertaining for my kid is not always entertaining for me. So I'll find myself on the phone, and there are Sundays where it's just he and I alone for an extended period of time because my husband will be traveling and there's no nanny this weekend, let's say. And I'll find myself being lonely and then going down the social media rabbit hole, and then, finding myself like obsessively checking stuff. And you're like, I just fucking looked at Instagram. Why am I on Instagram again?
I'll do it to the point where I'm like, I've needed to pee now for 20 minutes. And also, like, there's a book here I want to read, and there's a show I want to watch. Like, I can't, it's like I'm in quicksand. I can't move in any I can't make progress on anything because I'm just clicking back and forth between Instagram, Twitter, email, Instagram, Twitter, email.
Facebook. Yeah. Now, I think too, part of it, what I've learned, and so what helps me when I see myself getting there, when I see myself going down that just mindlessness of it, because I think Instagram and Twitter and stuff, all that stuff, it's fun. And then it's finite, and it's like, okay, that was neat. Let's put that down for a few hours and just sit here and engage in the world of activity.
Yeah.
Well, you start to realize, what I've realized is that Instagram in particular, which I love, is full of bullshit. It's full of people who are presenting an idealized version of their day. It's a fine house.
I just
You're
banged the
so
microphone.
funny.
Sorry.
For instance, there was this girl, and I'm not going to say who it is, she's very together. You would look at her profile, and it is envious. I mean, this woman just gave birth a few months ago, and flat stomach, perfect, in a bikini while pregnant. And then I saw her profile, and she's sobbing uncontrollably about having postpartum depression. And I was
in such a phony way that, as someone who has really had postpartum depression, it doesn't look like what she was doing.
Right. But the point being, which I thought was interesting, is like, well, there's always the facade of social media versus the reality. And if you've got a baby, I don't know how many bitches are putting on heels and makeup every day. You're just not. Sorry, you're not.
Right.
Unless someone, give me a fucking break. So then I think if I learned that it's a veneer, that this is bullshit. And I don't compare myself as much to other people and what they're doing.
Yeah, I mean, there's that cliche, you're comparing your insides to someone else's outsides.
I like that.
Yeah. Oh, take it.
Who says that?
I don't know.
That's good.
No, I didn't invent it.
It's good.
I so wish I had. I think it's a real 12-steppy kind of thing.
I love 12-steppy stuff.
I know. It's all good. It's all good.
It is.
One day at a time. There's so much wisdom in that as well. And also a great show. Yeah. I think it's interesting, that thing of like, I want the billboard. So Deadline is like a trade website. I want the Deadline article. I want the splashy Facebook post. The irony being, you know what'll make me unfollow someone? If they're ramming their success down my throat too much. Because I'm like, I don't want to see that. I want to see someone being real and struggling, actually, because that makes me feel better. And I feel like I'm actually witnessing a human being. But so why is it that I want to be able to broadcast my success? And I think it's like, I want to be able to say, hey, world, look, I really do have talent. I really am okay. I really did amount to, but it's like, and I can even hear it in my voice. I'm becoming a little kid when I say that. It's a very young, I think I'm trying to tell those bitches in 7th grade. Hey, you're picking on the wrong gal. Look, I did accomplish something.
You know what? I think you're right. I think that need to billboard and to show, and I know for me personally, it was to show my mom that I was a success. It was, I'm not a loser, because I was a real fuck up when I was 14 years old. I almost got thrown out of school because I had like straight D's and I didn't want to go to school anymore. I was a loser. So I think I've always been trying to undo that image that my parents were like, you're a fucking loser. Like, my immigrant parents were not very sympathetic to whatever. And then my mother died, and it was like, oh, I'm never going to. And I don't think, had she been alive, would I have ever gotten the good job.
Right.
My family's not the type to have ever validated success, actually. So then I kind of gave up on that as an ideal of like, well, what do I want? I want my parents' approval. Well, you're never going to get it. And then I went, well, why am I a stand-up comic? That's like the worst job in the world. And then I said, well, because there's other things I like doing with comedy. I think I have a lot to say to mothers, to people struggling with real serious, deep issues. That's why I do That's Deep Row and all that stuff, to help other people. To help other people. Really, truly, that's the goal. It's an intrinsically valuable thing. So it's not just me jerking my ego off every night when I'm up there. And I think if you find a deeper meaning and a deeper source, then it stops being extra. Who gives a shit? You know what I mean? The TV show may never come. The millions of followers may never come. But does that stop? Did that ever stop Charles Bukowski from writing? Right. Fuck no. That guy was a loser until he was 50 and he made it. So, it's all about the intention, I think.
I know. And it helps me to hear you say that, to sort of reorient towards what is meaningful to me. What do I want to say? As opposed to this real outside in thing, which whenever I really get hooked on the outside in, then I eventually get to the point. And I hate that I just repeat the same. I'm like Groundhog Day emotionally, the human being.
So am I.
Maybe is that just being human?
Well, because I was looking at the episodes of That's Deep Bro, and as I title them every week, I'm like, I think I did this episode 4 weeks ago when I was going through the same cycles. I think we all do as humans.
Yeah, I think so. Yeah. Hopefully you just have like, there's a little there's a little bit of new insight each time, or you get there faster. I think I'm getting there faster because what I always realize is, oh, I need the world to tell me I'm okay.
Yeah.
Because I don't feel okay right now.
Yeah.
And I think for me, after having a baby, with the body image change, the identity shift, all of a sudden, like, am I good at this? A whole new thing to be good or not good at.
Momming?
Yeah.
Oh, forget it. I mean, I don't know.
Yeah. I just, and the whole, the birth thing, which everything felt out of my control. And I kind of felt just like a piece of meat on the table. I didn't have a great experience. Like, it was just upsetting. And anyway, I think I just don't feel fundamentally okay like I have at different points of my life. And so that's why I want other people to tell me I'm okay.
Yeah, I think okay. From what I understand in psychotherapy,
please,
that internal validator should have come in childhood at some point. Like your parents kind of write the script for you when you're learning to do things. And if someone externally, like they give you the validation and or whatever, if it's received that way, then as an adult, it's easier to do that for yourself. The self-regulation becomes easier. I think you may have hit the nail on the head though, because I went through this thing too when Ellis was his first year of life of like, I'm never going to be good at comedy again. I'm never going to get a special. I'm never going to be. And now look, my Netflix special is out tomorrow, October 10th.
That's so
Mother
exciting.
Inferior on Netflix. Right, but
what's it called?
Mother Inferior. And
that's like exactly what we're talking about.
Oh yeah. Okay, good. No matter unconsciously, I was like, why does that make sense? But the thing is, the first year of his life, I thought my career's over. I can't tour anymore. I'm not funny. I'm too fat. Everything's over. Everything's over. Everything's over. And then what happened was a year and a half later, I recorded a stand-up special, and then Netflix picked it up 2 weeks after I recorded it. So
that's so exciting.
It was fucking crazy. But the thought being like, if anyone's listening to this and you're like, everything's fucked up, I'm never because of this.
I'm listening to this.
Okay.
Hello, I'm right here. I am going to amount to something.
The thing is that I do think all these changes, and I'm not just being a mother, but when you go through something traumatic or you go through something life altering, I think it layers up your message even more. And I think when people watch art or listen to podcasts or read books or whatever, they're looking to connect on it's the deeper level. Mm-hmm. It's the subtext. It's the unconscious stuff. And you're matching up with someone else's and it's validation. And it's like, oh, I'm not the only asshole that that's why this podcast is so amazing. Allison Rosen is your new best friend, because I think so many people are like, am I normal? Am I normal? And you even have that section.
Right.
I
just
love
me.
that.
Yeah, just me, everyone.
Because I feel like that's all people want, is to be like, do you feel this way? Is everyone else seeing this? Because popular culture does not validate that shit. Watch fucking Big Bang Theory and How I Met. Nothing is real on anything, and it's excruciating, and it's hurting. I think it hurts people.
I think so too. Yeah,
growing up,
same.
Like, why was there? I wish there were podcasts back then.
I was just gonna say, thank God for podcasts.
Yeah. Anyways, but okay. So how do you get there? So how do you get to the internal?
Yeah, I don't know. How do you?
I don't know. I mean, I work on it because I think it's normal to fluctuate.
Well, can I ask you a question? And it's
Go ahead.
So comforting to hear that you felt a lot of, because I'm relating so strongly to what you felt before of like, it's over for me.
Yeah,
this is it.
Dead.
And then with me, an extra layer of, and I feel guilty that I'm not okay with that, which like on the face of it, why would I be okay with that?
Wait, sorry.
I feel
guilty.
So I'm like, maybe my career's over.
Mm-hmm.
I feel guilty that I'm unhappy with that idea because instead I should just accept it. I'm a mom now.
Oh, because you think it necessarily has to happen that once you have a baby, you should have no career.
Well, once you have a baby, all your meaning should be derived from the baby.
Mm. Yeah, good luck with that. That to me seems like that's a real recipe for a miserable mom.
I know.
Miserable husband and miserable kid.
Yeah. There's so much. There's such a like lattice work of setting myself up for misery in my head that I'm like not even fully aware of.
Oof.
Just all
just
these.
Said it. You just yeah.
So, but hearing that you were like feeling all that, it's over for me. I'm not going to have a career. I'm too fat. What am I going to talk about? I'm too old.
I'm 41. Yes. I should have had a stand-up special 10 years ago, 5 years ago.
Oh, totally.
I'm over
Yeah,
the
I'm
hill.
like, yes, 1,000%. I feel all of that. And then look where you are now. How did you get to here?
All right. Okay, so there's psychotherapy once a week. Therapy, number one. Always first and foremost, get your ass into a therapist's office. I don't know how people don't see shrinks. I mean, I don't know. And I think, too, having my son was a source of great love for me and a source of like, oh, this is what life's about. Okay, I got it. My priorities have been fucked up. Have you read the book, The Subtle Art of Not Giving a Fuck?
No, but I'm going to write that down.
Dude, get your life. Everyone listening, go Audible, whatever, read it. The guy talks about priorities, and he talks about...
I will put an Amazon link in the episode summary of this episode to that. Yeah.
So he talks about what is success? What does that mean to you? And he uses this great example of the guy that got kicked out of the Beatles, the original drummer.
Oh, was it Stu Sutcliffe? It's not important.
I forget the guy's name. Any hoodles. You'd think that guy would be off a cliff and dead and suicidal. And yeah, the first decade was really hard getting kicked out of the Beatles. But then he goes, you know what? If I hadn't got kicked out, I wouldn't have met my wife. Excuse me. I wouldn't have had 2 children. I teach music. I perform music. And in some ways, a lot of the members of the Beatles were chasing that exact dream, but couldn't. Look at fucking poor John Lennon. Got with that vulture Yoko Ono. Gets gunned down at the age of 40. Had the family. Had the life. He finally found his mommy in Yoko, and it was taken from him. And all those guys were too famous to even have a regular life. So at the end of the day, the guy that got kicked out of the Beatles was the best thing that ever happened to him. So it's really about like, are your priorities to be a multi-millionaire? Okay, but think of all the stuff you have to sacrifice to do that. And I think for me personally, it was reorienting what success. What does that mean? Okay, am I going to be on the road every week? That's terrible. I want to be with my son. So success to me is I got this amount of time with my family every week. If I want to go do some cities, I'm very selective, and it's 48 hours out max, and then I'm home with my family. And if the special comes, great. If it doesn't, great. Guess what? I'm still going to do stand-up. I got to go to the comedy store once a week, blah, blah, blah. So it just became like whittling down what's really, really a priority, and that makes me really, really happy, is what I find meaningful. What's meaningful to you? And then all the external stuff, I don't know. For some reason, I don't give a fuck anymore. I don't care if fucking anybody thinks. And like, I think some of that came with my mom's death too, honestly, because she was the great judger for me. I heard her voice in my head a lot, criticizing me, telling me that I suck and stuff. And now that she's dead, I'm like, thanks, bitch. I'm free. Like, it freed me.
Yeah. This is good. I'm about to get really real, you guys. Yes. A lot of my guilt, this is going to be really real and like way too much info. A lot of the guilt I have over ways in which I feel like I messed up as a mom, and there are slight little things, is like, it has to do with my dad's judgment of my mom. Ooh. And I don't even talk to him about these things, but it's like my idea of what a good mom has to do with it's like he laid out, and by the way, this is not even spoken. It's just like it's just vibes. I think he laid out like, here's what a good mom is. And so I'm measuring myself up to what I think his idea, it's so Freudian and fucked up. It really is. But it's like I dropped my phone on Elliot's head when he was 7 weeks old. And by the way, so I now have this loopy case so that I can hold on to it. Like, and also I hit myself in the eye with a phone and basically gave myself a black eye. So I've paid for it. I felt so terrible. But I was aware that I feel terrible because I'm imagining, like, once I made sure that he was fine, I feel terrible because I'm imagining what my dad, who's a doctor, would think about this. Right. Like, I can't, my dad is so, my idea of my dad is so involved in every fucking aspect of my life. It's not good. Yeah. And if he were right here, I'd be like, how'd you get here? But also, if someone said to him, this is how much you're affecting all aspects of her life, how do you feel about that? He'd be like, I wish she wasn't burdened in that way. You know?
So he would take
Yeah, he doesn't. I'm sure he would. I don't think he would say, I wish I hadn't burdened her in that way. But I think he wouldn't wish he wouldn't wish to lay this extra shit on me.
Right. He wouldn't want you to suffer.
Right. No, he would hope that as an adult, my parents are like in their proper box.
Correct.
As opposed to they're like all over the place.
I just had a revelation. Okay. So this is just a chain of thought. When you try something new and you're not great at it, right? I'm a perfectionist. I sense you're the similar.
Oh,
yeah. We have that same neuroses of like, if I can't do it perfectly, everything sucks.
Mm-hmm.
I'm fucking doing this wrong.
I'm a fraud.
I'm the worst mom ever. Yeah. I'm fucking Elliot up. He's going to need all kinds of therapy. And then what happens is...
I should have known better. I should have known better. I should have, it's like, it gets messy.
So deep. So then what happens is you go into being child, right? You go into the child. And also you react as a child would because you're
Please tell me I'm okay. Please tell me I'm okay.
Yeah. And now if the internal parent, which is the parent that you've internalized, you have your external parents growing up and how they react to you is how you react to yourself as an adult, right?
Yeah.
So the child, you're a child. When you're vulnerable, you become the child.
And having a child makes you so vulnerable.
24/7. You're that's the hardest part about having a kid. It's not, that's the thing that fucking bothers me too, is like, bitches don't talk about that. Like the truth is
fucking open wound.
Yeah.
Like, actually literally right away afterwards. But
but having a kid brings up all your parental stuff, all your childhood stuff every day comes up in some. And if you're not brave and if you're not conscious and you're not fucking fearless to it, you're going to fuck up your kid the same way it was done to you. And that's the great problem. But anyway, so the point is you're going back to your child reaction, and that's the internal thing. I'm not good enough.
That's why I need validation so bad.
And daddy, and by the way, guess what? Dad's judging you.
Yeah.
And he's here and he's going to fucking tell you you're doing it wrong. Because your mom was perfect. Your mom did everything. She stayed home, right?
Right.
You're not. Why aren't you?
Oh, no, but she wasn't perfect. That's the thing. I know all the ways in which she messed up.
Oh.
So, and now, this part she would actually love to hear, although I do hope my parents don't listen to this. I'm realizing it's just so much more complicated. It's like I grew up with again, didn't realize this till maybe this week. Like I grew up with such a black and white idea of good mom, bad mom, good, which is, by the way, that's how children see the world.
Of course.
But it's like all the way, all the ways in which I feel like my mom messed up, because it's like there's only one right way to do things, and she didn't. I'm realizing I could so easily make many of those. I could so easily act in similar ways as she did, because it's just when you're a mother, you're a human being.
And that's a huge distinction as well, by the way, is that when we become mothers, I think for me, the assumption was some kind of mist is going to wash over me. And now I'm this new person. Mm-hmm. I'm a mom. I got it. I'm a mom. Everything I do now is from this place of momitude. And all of a sudden, it should just be your whole identity, right?
Everything should be, all decisions made from, as you put it, which I love, a place of momitude.
Yeah. And also because the role of mother is so sacred in our society. And that's kind of why I chose the title Mother Inferior, because you're supposed to be great at this. You should be a nun, a perfect, maternal. I have a picture of myself, a fan did on my wall of me as the Virgin Mother holding my dog. And the artwork is based on this because... that's the image. You're supposed to be virtuous, perfect. At the same time, you're supposed to be available for sex with your husband all the time. And you should be in shape because you don't carry that baby weight around. There's so many expectations as opposed to just a flawed person raising another human being and doing the best job you can.
Yeah.
So
and struggling.
Yeah, it's so hard.
It is.
I know.
Yeah.
And you think, and my crazy brain went, but if I spend all my time with him, 24/7 with him, I will somehow do it right. It'll be perfect then. Because my mom wasn't perfect. I'm going to do it right. And for some reason that did equate to like spending every minute with him all the time in the beginning. And then I was like, this isn't good for me. And I don't think it's good for him, really.
I, at the beginning, was surprised, and this has changed, but at the beginning, I was like, oh, my husband is better at this than I am.
Yeah.
Which actually kind of makes sense because his dad, when he was a teenager, his dad adopted 3 kids. So he has more experience with babies. Like I babysat, but that was a long time ago. So I didn't have a ton of recent hands-on baby experience, whereas my husband is really good with babies. But that was I felt fortunate that he's so good with Elliot, but I felt like, he's better at being a mom than I am.
Yeah.
And then now, thankfully, I feel like, he does know who I am, and I am able to comfort him. But there was a while where I felt like I'm not sure that he's that intimately bonded with me, you know?
It's so funny. My stepsister has, I think he's like 5 or 6 now. And she's like, there were times where we would go, does he even like us?
Yeah.
Because you go like, do you know who I fucking am, bro? Like,
right. Because there's a long time where they don't know who anyone is.
No.
Yeah.
And then they say mama, dada, and you're like, oh my God, you're the best person. Like, this is amazing. Let's have 5 more.
Oh.
And yeah, it's crazy. But there is a time where they don't. You're right. And it's so fucked up.
I need to talk about something
Go
that
ahead.
is very relevant to both you and me. 1 in 3 women pee a little when they laugh, cough, run, or double bounce like a boss on a trampoline. I find, for me, it's mostly coughing. And also the time in between when I think I need to pee. And then I'm like, I'm about to pee. It's so short.
Yeah.
It's so short. I don't know if I'm aware of needing to pee faster. I don't know what's changed. I mean, having a baby is what changed everything.
Yeah.
But I didn't realize that that's just the way it's going to be from here on out. Icon Undies are here to help keep you dry with pee-proof underwear. They're from the same women who brought you Thinx period underwear. Ditch your disposable panty liners because each pair of Icon holds up to 8 teaspoons. Also, they're microbial, anti-odor, and they're not gross. Have you experienced them? Have you felt them? They're amazing. They're like underwear.
I've been wearing them. Yeah, I have them in my drawer, and they're amazing.
They are so much
work.
better than dealing with panty liners, which I can't.
I hate panty liners.
That was one of my least favorite parts of immediate after pregnancy, dealing with I can't handle it. Try Icon Undies for 30 days risk-free. 30 days risk-free. Use code BFF at iconundies.com. So that's BFF at iconundies.com for $10 off your order.
That's really cute, BFF.
Isn't it though?
Those are great. And they're very stylish too. I will say that I think those Icon panties look better than the ones I normally wear.
I bought some like gigantic pantaloons while pregnant. Not really. But they were bigger. I'm still wearing the same underwear I was, and like I like some give in my underwear.
Yeah,
it just makes me feel a little better about my fat ass. The fact that it's like, there's this underwear might be too big. How exciting!
You know, it's so funny. My friend has like a kid around your boy's age too, and she's like, I'm so fat, I'm so out of shape. And I remember being like, yeah, but I didn't start losing baby weight until a year after my kid was born too. I think it takes a year.
Yeah, you told me that.
Yeah.
You said give yourself a year, and when you said that, I was like, I can't. But that now I'm sort of beginning to see what you meant. Like I've been slowly losing it, but just now I'm beginning to feel like I'm sort of a little bit closer to being my old self.
Yeah.
And I am feeling more confident because of that. That's been another thing that I sort of struggled with, this feeling that I don't feel confident enough to be doing meetings or anything, but at the same time, I feel like that shouldn't be like I've got so many issues around body image and weight. Like I think I have this idea that like you shouldn't, even though I'm always worried about it, this idea that like you shouldn't let extra pounds keep you from doing any of the things that you would do if you had lost that weight, because it can become an excuse with yourself of like, I'm just going to wait till I lose this weight. I'm just going to wait till I lose this weight. And then realizing, but for me, it is, this particular weight gain is situation specific. It is because I had a baby and I am in the process of taking it off. So if I want to say, I'm going to give myself until I lose it to start doing all the things because I will feel more confident, it's okay to do that.
Oh, yeah.
Because I really felt like, no, that's just like I don't know. I really need to give myself a break. And I need to give my listeners a break too, because I'm just like, bitch, stop complaining.
Well, I think it's so normal, especially when you have a postpartum body, to not be used to it. And
Yeah.
I mean, there are some days I look in the mirror and I'm like, oh my God, where did I go? Look at this train wreck.
Mm-hmm.
And then this thing happens where you get used to it, A, just visually, and then B, you go, yeah, but I made a human.
Right.
And what a superpower that was, and how miraculous was that I was able to carry and then deliver this kid, and like it's a gift. And then you go, yeah, you know what? I also had 40 good years with nice tits. And
but I didn't appreciate them. I didn't appreciate those years. I spent all of those years feeling like I'm too this or I'm too that.
Oh, that too. I mean,
but now I look back on that and I'm like, oh, I wasn't I wasn't what I thought I was.
You know what is interesting is you use the word should a lot.
I know.
No, not that
I shouldn't do that.
I should. But I know in my personal life, whenever a career, let's start with career and then go to body. When it starts in the career and I look at what someone else is doing, like that TV billboard, for instance, gosh, I should have it. I should do that too. Or I should have more followers. I should do that. Whenever something's rooted in the should for me, it's never good. Meaning it's like that's how I know, that's my clue that that's an external validator.
Oh, that's
and it's
really interesting.
Yeah,
yes.
It's not going to bring me the lasting joy, you know.
All of that mother stuff that I was talking about, feeling like my dad's going to judge me, even though the dad that I have in my head is going to, who's like the seat of judgment, going to judge me. That all is around should. That's all should stuff.
And that, by the way, may not even be the reality of how, like, it's your projection of what you're,
exactly.
whoever, it's your interpretation of what dad is, whatever. So then let's go to the body stuff. I the first year after I had Ellis, wore those big granny bathing suits like that you buy on Amazon.
Yeah.
And I still do. But then there was this vacation we just went on, and I was like, what am I going to do? Am I going to fucking hide my body, my postpartum body, in granny shit forever? Or am I going to, look, your husband's going to want to bang you, hopefully, either way. He likes my big soggy mom tits. And I thought, everyone else has a crummy body. Look, here's the truth. When you go to the beach, unless you're in South Beach or in LA, most people got crummy bodies like yours. Go down to Burke Williams or the spa or whatever. Go look at all these naked bitches. Most of us look like shit naked. So, except for the 20-year-old girl who just, you're at that age, you should look pretty great, you know. Most of us look like shit. So what am I going to do? Cover it and always be? Or am I going to buy the bathing suit that's a little revealing and fuck it, who cares? Let them judge me. So that's what I did. I bought like 2 pieces. And I was like, here it is, bitch. Look at my fat.
And also,
what are you going to do?
No one is even judging you or
no
looking.
One cares.
Everyone's just thinking about themselves.
Yes! And that's the biggest epiphany and you can have in life is like, no one's looking at you, dude. And if they are, it's either to hate you or envy you, or maybe they do like you, really. They like your show. They really do know you well enough. But it's all comparing themselves to you. And it's like this weird mind game. We're all in our own stuff.
I know.
It's crazy, right? You're not even... Most of the time, you're just worried about what you're doing and thinking, and we're all in our own things.
But imagine what our life would be like if we weren't mired in that.
We'd be enlightened masters, right?
We really would. Would we be? Do you know Duncan Trussell, right?
I love Duncan.
Would we be Duncan Trussell?
Yes, I think you're right. I think we'd all be Duncan. Yeah,
oh my God.
Or Ram Dass.
Yes,
or one of those cool
Jack Cornfield.
I love Jack. But yeah, right. Or Swami Satchidananda, I like him too. Or Wayne Dyer. I don't know, but they have their hang-ups too.
I know.
It's not like you're ever, you know, past all that shit.
So, was going back and listened to the episode when you were on my show last, and you said that when you were close to pushing Ellis out of you, the doctor said, "Do you want to see?" And you said, "No."
No.
And they asked me if I wanted a mirror, and I said no, because I knew that if I saw it, I would be afraid to push.
Exactly.
I'd be like, I don't want to do that. That seems violent.
Yeah.
I don't want to break that area apart. But I asked you if Tom looked, and you said yes.
Yeah.
And his reaction was, so much shit came out of you.
Yeah. Yeah.
Daniel's reaction was, oh my God, your vagina. He didn't say this till after, but your vagina is huge. It got so huge.
Yeah. Yeah, because I watched birth videos beforehand, and I know what it looks like before it gets real puckery because the head's pushing again. And it looks really terrifying. And I knew that if I looked at it, I would start getting in my head about that, and I wouldn't be able to push it out. No way, right?
Same. Yeah.
And she goes, do you want to touch the head? And I was even like, no, let's just go. Like, it's go time.
I did touch the head.
Ooh. Oh, wait, did I? I may have. I don't remember.
I was like, my thought was squishy. It feels squishy.
Yeah.
But it wasn't this like, oh, sweet, it's his head. It was just like, it felt weird and squishy. And I think I was just like sort of mentally in another place at that point. That whole thing was just weird. And we had this spa music playing in the background. It was weird. And also my memory, all of it took place. So it was a very long labor. I was induced, and all of it took place in one room. But in my memory, it's like the delivery is in a different room than the room that I was for 2 days, because the lights kind of changed and they lift the table up.
Oh, right.
And
Yeah,
the
they turn
room,
the lights off. I remember.
Yeah, the room just becomes, it's like a change of set.
And then, the nurses, I remember I was pushing, and then the nurses had their shift change in the middle of my delivery. Who are you guys now? Yeah, it's pretty gnarly.
Yeah, and then all of a sudden, like, the doctor and the nurses put on scrubs, because the nurses were in scrubs at the beginning, but the doctor wasn't. It's like, I don't know.
And the doctor comes in at the last second.
Yes.
No one tells you that either.
Yeah.
I was like, where the fuck is my doctor? I'm about to push this thing out. Where is it?
Yeah, it was the hospital midwife I was pushing with her. I said to them, I'm feeling an urge to push.
Yeah.
They're like, okay, let's push, thinking they're going to call my doctor.
No.
And it was just the midwife I was pushing with, and I knew that baby was coming.
Yeah.
And so I was like, have you called the doctor yet? And finally she got there, and it was the baby came out a lot faster than what they expected.
Yes,
I'm glad, that she was there, because I did not want anyone beside my doctor to be the one delivering the baby.
Yeah, you don't want to fucking not that nurses aren't qualified. I'm sure they actually are really qualified.
They are.
But you trust and know this particular...
I had a long conversation with her about how I was very afraid of tearing a lot, and she had assured me she would do everything she could to prevent tearing.
Yeah.
So that's what I was worried about, was that someone else wouldn't take all the tearing precautions. So, and then I ended up just needing one stitch, thankfully.
Lucky, dude.
But the way that they do that is that when the baby's coming out, they hold the head there and they let you stretch around it. So I think it might actually be more uncomfortable, because that was deeply uncomfortable, just sitting there with a baby like right on the precipice of your vagina.
Wait, did you not have drugs? Oh no, you said you didn't know if your epidural works.
I don't think my epidural really works.
It doesn't sound like it does.
No,
I don't remember that.
Right, you didn't feel. I felt a lot of pain. Yeah, I had a walking epidural, and then I converted to a regular epidural, and I think that's when everything kind of went south, because they gave me a very weak regular epidural because I was concerned about not being able to feel my legs. In retrospect, I don't know why. Not being able to feel my legs would have been fine. So at that point, I was already pretty dilated. So I think that it's like I went from having a walking epidural to essentially no epidural, and then they were like playing catch up, and sometimes with pain, once you're already feeling that much pain, they can't really do it. Yeah, they did replace the epidural, and it's still like I was still feeling a lot of it. I don't know.
I wish they would just put you out like they did in the 1950s. Just fucking wake me up when it's done, dude.
What could go wrong? You know what I wondered, though? When they would do that, did they have to pull the baby out with forceps?
I guess.
Because I think I had this idea that regardless of whether you push or not, the baby's going to come out.
Yeah.
But it did seem like the pushing or maybe it's like regardless of whether you want to push or not, you're going to push. Maybe that's what it is.
I have no idea how it works, but I think what they used to do is give women like gas, and you would inhale it, and then they would pass out, and that was the danger, is like they could die that way.
Yeah, and it affects the baby quite a bit.
Does it? Oh,
yeah.
Sorry, then I don't want that.
That's my understanding of it. So I need to talk about something food related. So we need to let's put something in here that's not so biological. What's your favorite citrus fruit?
OMG. I love grapefruit. I love it.
There you go. Okay. I want to talk to you guys about Blue Apron. You know Blue Apron, right? It's
it.
amazing. Let's say you want to make a delicious home-cooked meal. Right now, you got to look up a recipe. Then you have to go to the store. You have to pick up all of those ingredients. You don't know how much to buy. So if you're like me, you buy too much. You come home, you have to cut it all up. You have to measure it. And then you got all this like, oh, here's leftover parsley, or I don't know what to do with it. It's just going to sit in my refrigerator. That's me. I'm not very organized in my refrigerator. And then you're too tired to cook. So you just put it away and you just eat something that's not going to take nearly as long. Don't do that. do Blue Apron. They send you everything you need to make a delicious home cooked meal, all the ingredients, all pre-proportioned. It's so you'll be just a regular Rachel Ray on her show where everything's just in little bowls and it's just go time the minute you get the box. And also they send you a recipe card where it's all broken down into steps with these pictures. It's so easy. Excellent high quality cardstock, by the way. You'll want to save this recipe. It's affordable. There's great variety. You can choose from new recipes each week or let Blue Apron's culinary team surprise you. Flexible, easy. There's a freshness guarantee, so every ingredient in your delivery arrives ready to cook or they'll make it right. Check out this week's menu and get $30 off your first meal with free shipping by going to blueapron.com/Allison. You'll love how good it feels and tastes to create incredible home cooked meals with Blue Apron. So don't wait, you guys. That's blueapron.com/Allison. Blue Apron, a better way to cook. Also, I should tell you, I'm on Patreon, patreon.com/Alice. I love Patreon. Patreon.com/Allison Rosen is where you go for that. Different reward levels. You can get bonus episodes every month. You can get exclusive access to an interactive live stream. You can get merch in the mail. Check it out. Patreon.com/Allison Rosen is where you go for that. And if you'd like what you're hearing, subscribe. iTunes.com/Allison Rosen. Also, t-shirts available on my website, AllisonRosen.com. And I was going to say I'm going to be at Podfest, but by the time you hear this, I was at Podfest. I think it went well.
Oh, good. I heard you were fantastic.
Thank you. It was pretty phenomenal. It's a just packed house.
Also, can I add one plug?
Yes, please.
Watch my fucking Netflix special. It debuts tomorrow, October 10th. It's called Mother Inferior. You can search for me, Christina P. I'm now going by Christina, just the letter P, because God knows Pazsitzky ain't doing me any
I was going
favors.
to ask, because I've heard you refer to yourself as Christina P now.
Yeah. I mean, look, if you know Pazsitzky, great, but most people, it's terrible. So you can just search for me, Christina P, and it comes up.
Oh, so even your Netflix special is as Christina P. You're truly Christina P.
From now on, dude, that's it. Christina P.
I love that. Are you going to sign stuff, Christina P?
Yeah. Why not? Oh, why not? I mean, look, like I said, if you know me historically, one way it's fine. You can still say it. I don't like it though. It's too long.
Interesting.
Such a fucking shitty last name.
Because when we last talked, you were Christina Segura.
Well, legally.
In your right.
Yeah.
But publicly, you're Christina Pazsitzky. But now you're just Christina P.
It's so confusing.
Next, you're just going to be Christina.
I wish. Like, I would love to do that. Why not? Why not?
Why not?
Why not Christina the Entertainer, like Cedric?
Right. You know? I know.
It's fun.
So what else? What else should we address? Have we fully canvassed motherhood and pregnancy? Oh wait,
I know, right?
Are you thinking?
Number two.
Yeah, number two.
Yeah, I think I'd like to try. I mean, look, I'm old bitch, and I put some embryos on ice, so we'll see how that goes. I think I'm ready. I think that, and you know what? I also feel like I want to take over. I want to do over of pregnancy.
Same.
Because I feel like I was so anxious, and my mom had died. It was like there's too much shit for that year. I want to just be pregnant and not have like a major life trauma happen or anything,
right?
And just see what that's like.
And also, how many months pregnant were you when you moved?
Oh my God.
Or no, I mean, sorry, how old was Ellis is what I mean.
So then that fucking drama. So we moved when he was 12 weeks old, and then we moved again when he was 10 months old. So not only that, we moved twice in 1 year, and I was like, this is nuts. So I'd like to have just a normal pregnancy of just like, oh, I'm pregnant, guys. Let's go to Michael's Arts and Crafts. Let's go eat some cheeseburgers and chill out and not have anything major happen.
It's crazy to me that I'm already starting to think of number two as well, because I really didn't love being pregnant. No. I mean, I was so excited, but the actual experience of being pregnant, I didn't love. And it's just so funny to me that I'm feeling myself kind of miss it.
Yes!
It's like, what am I? Isn't that so weird?
It is weird.
Maybe it's just because it's probably not. It's probably because I actually might be getting ready to think about another one. But there's part of me that's like, well, I just got so used to doing fertility stuff. It was my hobby. It was my hobby and my pastime and my occupation for so long that I'm like, let's do it again.
It kind of does get that way. Because now that I'm going through the process of maybe putting in baby number, like doing the prep work for it, I'm like, this is old hat. Like, I'm not as terrified.
Right.
Not nearly as anxious, a little more ambivalent, a little more like, it happens, great. If not, my life will be so full with my one kiddo.
Mm-hmm.
So I think that on that road, it's not as fraught with like, if this doesn't happen, what will I?
Right.
I'll never have a kid.
I feel that way as well now, but I'm worried that as I get further along into it, it all of a sudden will become really important, whether it works or not.
Dude, are you going to go through? So do you have any on ice?
We do. We have 5.
Oh, thank God.
But they're not genetically tested. You did the genetic testing, right?
Yeah.
We didn't because we didn't have enough. And I don't know if there was a big article in New York Magazine that just came out about something that my fertility doctor told me about, which is that there is some evidence that embryos that come back abnormal, if they were that after going through genetic testing, that come back normal, if they had been implanted, there's a chance they would self-correct.
Oh, interesting.
So there's all these embryos that have been discarded because if your embryo comes back abnormal, no one's like, I want to put that one in anyway, because it just seems unwise. And why would you do that to yourself? But then an article in New York Magazine just came out where someone, like 5 out of 12 embryos, like someone put altogether 12 abnormal embryos were put back into women, and 5 of them were healthy, normal babies were born. Yeah. It's a pretty big deal. And so my doctor knew that, like, was talking how this is, some people think this. And so because I only had
we had the same doctor, by the way.
I know.
That's so funny.
So she knew about this a while ago, and this was her belief that there's a chance that they'll self-correct. And she's like, if we test them, they might all come back abnormal. You're not going to put any of them in. Wow. But let's just see. Like testing, if you have a ton, testing is good to figure out which ones to put in.
Yes.
But if you only have a few, then her recommendation to me was don't test them. So anyway, we have 5. They're not tested, though. I don't know how it's going to go with them. I also don't know, am I going to just put in 1 at a time, which means 5 rounds of progesterone shots, and that's the worst.
I was on those estrogen patches. Man, it's like, for me, I had to put 4 on my body at once last month, and I was like, it feels like I just drank 10 cups of coffee. My anxiousness is through the roof. I'm going to fucking go crazy. It's the worst.
Don't like taking estrogen.
Oh, no.
But our doctor likes it.
Loves it.
She calls them happy pills. Yeah. Like, not for me.
Not for me, dude.
No. But I actually liked the feeling of Clomid. I know that you didn't.
I hated it.
So wait, do you have to do progesterone shots?
No shots, patches, and then I do progesterone oil they put me on last month for, I don't know, to
wait, how do you
thicken
take
your
it?
lining. Oh, I inject it.
Oh, yes, you do.
Your ass, yeah.
Yeah.
That's fine. That doesn't bother me,
really?
Honestly. No.
I did not like those shots.
Well, because I did the egg retrieval, same as you did.
Yeah.
And I got used to it. So now I'm like, whatever. What's for breakfast? What's the kid? Like, I don't even care. And you will find that because you have a little one running around, that you're not thinking about it as much,
right.
The second one. Like, you're just not as, I think with everything, and this might be the one blessing of having children, is that it takes the pressure for me off of everything else in my life.
Yeah.
You know, before I had my son, I was so me focused. It was so gross. It was like, what's happening with me? How's my career? And then I'm so over me. Like, I'm not that interested anymore. Right. It's like, I have to care for, I have to turn this outward. And I look at my life now, and I have 2 dogs that I mother. I have an actual baby that I mother, and then sometimes a husband that I mother when he's sick. You know? I like being a mom, and I like being 41. And I hate that too, that we're sold that the best time in your life is like being 20 and hot. It's like, oh, the hot part's great, but actually I'm really enjoying being maternal and being like centered and being responsible for other living things. I think it just makes you a better human. Mm-hmm. You know, like, not that if you don't have kids, you're not a good person, but it's made me a better person.
I feel like Mother Inferior is not accurate at all.
No, I feel like I'm failing at it a lot, but whatever, you know.
Well, I'm just gonna let's let them behind the screen for a moment.
Okay. Yes.
Where are we time wise?
What do you mean?
Like, how long has this been?
Been what? Our show right now?
Yes.
We're at 51.
51. Okay. I feel like we didn't do just me or everyone.
Oh, but, I love that.
Oh, we can do it. Okay.
Oh my God, that's my favorite segment.
Let's do just me or everyone.
Sometimes I ponder on something I have thought or done. Is it just me one.
Okay. The Great One says, sometimes I look through my phone contacts that I've only called a few times, if ever, and wonder how many of them are now dead.
No.
I've never done that.
That's just you, dude.
Yeah, I don't do that.
No. That's sad.
I will say that one time my sister and I were in New York. We lived there at the time, waiting for the subway, and it was just taking forever. And I'm like, "Ooh, let's go through our phone contacts and like tell stories about the various people in there." And then we both started looking through our phone contacts, and really fast, we're like, "This is not going to be fun." And then we didn't do it. Like it was the worst kind of creative game. Hypernicus says, "Just mirror everyone. Don't like it when restaurants take my food away to box it up." But is he suggesting that like you're still working on it and they take it away?
I think he means, can I do it myself? Like,
don't
see. Trust them. Like,
right.
They're probably using their dirty hands, which I kind of did when I was a server. So I'm not gonna lie.
Really?
Not like I wasn't always as hygienic as I could have been. Yeah.
I always prefer. Sometimes like if they just drop off a couple flat boxes, like they're like a mailer. Yeah. I'm always like, oh, I guess I'll do it myself. I prefer when they do it, but now I'm gonna prefer. Now I prefer when I do it because then I can decide what goes with me.
Yeah, if your finger goes in the food too.
Yeah.
That's true. I used to feel insulted like, you fucking do this. What am I paying for?
Right.
But
no, now I'm going to do it myself. I was at a restaurant recently and they had a great bread bowl, something I don't eat all the time, but I wish I could. They kept taking the bread away.
Oh,
they kept.
God.
I was like, get the... It was very upsetting for me. Jane Montgomery says, singing in the car, daydream about a karaoke situation where people I admire are inexplicably present hearing me nail the song. I don't do that one specifically, but yes. And actually, I don't particularly enjoy karaoke. However, whenever I do karaoke, I'm like, get a load of the pipes on me. Is everyone else noticing this? So maybe I do have the same fantasy.
I don't think I'll ever be a good singer, but I am impressed with how well I know lyrics. And I will be like, I wish somebody would acknowledge how good I am at knowing all the words to Rock the Casbah. Like, I really know all these words.
I'll acknowledge it.
Or to a rap song.
That's hard.
It's really hard.
Yeah.
Especially at Jay-Z 99 Problems. I know all the words.
Look at you.
Yeah. Yeah.
I like that song.
Me too.
Liz says, I saw a spider in my underwear drawer and now I want to burn everything and start from scratch. Yes, that is the appropriate feeling about it.
I love it so much. Yeah, totally. Yes. Burn down your house too. Start over.
Mark Nagel says, Twitter should display tweets per hour on profiles so I can decide if they will clog my timeline. Look, I'm a frequent tweeter sometimes, but not that frequent. I get what you're saying, but I think it's better that for people like me that they don't.
So this person's saying to log the frequency with which...
Yes, because if you're tweeting too frequently, he doesn't want to follow you.
I agree. But then I'm just not a big Twitter person.
I know.
For that fucking reason.
I envy that. And then this last one. Rachel says, it's so irritating when people in the emergency exit row think they're funny with responses other than yes, no to required flight attendant speech. Yes. Basically, anyone in public who's trying to be funny, if you're overhearing them, it's super annoying. Unless it's me, in which case it's charming.
I agree.
That is how I feel about it.
I give a gigantic eye roll to that dude, too. I give an eye roll to the flight attendant that's trying to make...
Oh, come on.
Usually it's Southwest.
Yes.
And they actually, no, Southwest does it well. But if it's like any other airline, I'm like, stop trying to be... You're not fun.
Right.
You're not cool. Yeah.
Yeah.
God, those are so interesting. I love that people think of this stuff.
I know. I do too. I have the best listeners and you have the best listeners.
We do. We're very blessed.
And I think we'll have some crossover listeners because of our big 2-part episode. Anyone who hasn't already heard the episode that started all of this on That's Deep Bro, episode 139, it's the first part of this conversation. Mm-hmm. Go listen. Okay, so Christina.
Yes, mommy.
Plug all your things.
Oh, plugging it. Okay, the big one is obviously my Netflix special, October 10th, Mother Inferior, Christina P. Check that out. And for now, I'm really just home because once that hour comes out, I got to write a new one. And I haven't written a new one yet. So I'm probably not going to be touring until 2018. And listen to Your Mom's House. That's my big podcast with my husband, Tom Segura. And, November 8th, we're doing Your Mom's House live at the Irvine Improv. Come see that if you're interested. And other than that, ChristinaPOnline.com. Netflix special, all that good stuff. Thank you. I love you.
And follow me on Twitter at Allison Rosen. Follow the show's Twitter feed at ARIYNBF. Follow me on Instagram. I care too much at Allison Rosen. Thank you for listening. I love you guys. Goodbye.
Hey, do you know about the Allison Rosen Show?